some tips for strength and conditioning coaches that are working at a semi-pro level or perhaps passionate about the industry but are working towards their first full-time contract?
Be vulnerable and make mistakes. And as a bit more of an experienced member of staff now, I can recognize that. And I think that's really important, is to not actually worry about making a mistake. Just getting in there and getting your hands dirty is very important. And also learning what the job's about, staying curious about, what is the GPS, but then down the other end, can you make a really good nutritious protein shake for the boys? Can you set the gym up? Can you sport properly? So it's about, I think, having this curiosity in terms of how the nuts and bolts of everyday sort of high performance practitioners sort of works would be my advice to them.
What does mindfulness mean to you, and why is it something that you find is so valuable for those that want to perform at the highest level?
Reflecting on my career as well, going back, if I could have done one thing differently, it would have been spending more time practicing mental skills, looking into mindfulness, learning how to downregulate, learning how to upregulate. And for me, it's just the key differentiator now between very good and elite. And the teams that are getting there, mindfulness is a pretty broad term, but getting their mental skills right, for me, in whatever way they're doing it, whether it's through the physical preparation or a specific mental skills, mindfulness, they seem to be the teams that are sort of, or, the individuals that are flourishing and becoming elite. So I think it's a real differentiator now in elite sport.
What would be some things that perhaps are some areas that they could see some benefits from throughout their week, whether it be energy throughout the day, concentration, or performance consistency?
Self-awareness is probably the first pillar of mindfulness. When you are thinking about stuff, is stopping and asking yourself, why am I thinking about this? What's the motivation behind me thinking about this? Whether you're scared or excited or, nervous, whatever, what is driving? So when those decisions under pressure come, they've got a much clearer understanding of the way they operate to an optimal level. Breathing is probably the fundamental skill of mindfulness. Just teaching them one or two really simple breathing protocols that they can use post-training, between the weight sets, at night before you go home. And then between that, you've got this range of toolkits, whether it's, meditation or, journaling, whatever it is to fit the individual athlete.
Mindfulness and mental skills training, is it simple box breathing and starting with that for maybe a month and then moving towards something that's a little bit deeper? Or what's your experience? What's the most effective way to start?
I think it was about 2012, Jack, and I saw somebody taping the mouths up and riding a bike. They had tape over the mouths and they were riding them. I was like, what is going on there? And I just started trying it myself. And then it was like, don't put tape over your mouth, just put a bit of water in your mouth and cycle at this low level. And that's actually what got me into the breathing, the interest in the breathing again, which is probably the fundamental layer of the mindfulness. So as a first timer, if you want to feel the power of breathing, just do the Wim Hof protocol. Whether you like it or not, or you're into it, or if you do that, you will feel the power of what your breathing can do to the way you think and the way you feel very quickly.
Journaling the challenges. Talk us through that process. Like, is that literally just pen and paper? Or is it a whiteboard thing? Or is it just literally just jotting those things down and brain dumping almost just to help with the stress?
There's no strategy in what I'm doing now, mate. It's just literally, I've got a page on my remarkable thing where I can just write the way I feel. And what the nice bit is about it, doing it on this Remarkable, which is like this electronic thing, I can go back when I've written it down, I've got it in the same place, and I can go back and see what I've written down previously. So that really helps, and that can take you 2 or 3 minutes. But again, just getting something down on paper where you have got where you are ruminating, where you have got a few things in your mind, just seems to just turn the volume down in terms of the way, your levels of stress, for want of a better word, or, the way you're thinking, to be able to just turn the volume down from a 7 or an 8 down to sort of a 4 or 5 or 3 or 4, even better. So you can operate to the level that you want to operate.